I found this on Twitter a few days ago, and it's so true
that it's scary.
First, iDubbbz starts by bullying someone.
They're suing you to recoup the training costs they gave you?
They said if I shut up and pay back the 15 grand for the 5 months of training, they won't sue me for damages.
Then causes some YouTube drama.
And it also looks like Froggy Fresh is claiming that he is now being threatened with a potential lawsuit over this situation.
His behavior backfires.
We lost $250,000 on the event.
And then what does he do? He plays victim.
For anyone who's under the impression that Froggy has been like reasonable and chill and respectful through this whole process, he hasn't been. He's been a piece of shit. I'm not happy with how he's behaved. He's talked mad shit about me, Anissa, participants of the event itself. It's like, come on.
What's the difference between growing as a person and being a hypocrite?
It was a different time back then, for sure.
I don't think it's fair to say it was that different.
It was just,
I think I was different, for sure.
If you have to constantly remind people that you've changed, is it possible that maybe you haven't really changed in the way that you think you have?
Oh, I'm a totally different person. all of the cells in my body have changed.
Hundreds of YouTube videos made over the course of 9 years, 7.5 million subscribers, and 1.2 billion video views. iDubbbz did everything on his channel, from calling out scammy Kickstarter projects to reviewing food in a sewer. But what iDubbbz was most known for, videos that would get millions of views as soon as they were uploaded, was Content Cop. Content Cop was exactly what it sounds like. If someone on YouTube was being manipulative, lying about their content, being a hypocrite, engaging in copyright abuse, or just generally being predatory, they ran the risk of having a content cop made on them that would expose their scumminess for the world to see.
There are plenty of other things to insult the rat for. He's manipulative, hypocritical, makes horrible content, extremely unfunny, cringy.
What made these videos particularly memorable was that iDubbbz wasn't above petty drama or bullying, which he would mix in with legitimate criticisms like making fun of Leafy's chin, the Fine Brothers' eyes, or saying that Keemstar looked like a gnome. Add to this the fact that the videos usually included original comedy skits that took far more effort than most things on YouTube at the time, and you had a recipe for some truly special moments. Sure, a lot of the humor doesn't hold up today, and what was impressive 7 years ago might not hit the same now. But these videos did the two things that only truly great comedy does. They pushed the boundaries of what's socially acceptable for the time, taking the audience out of their comfort zone, and they said something introspective about the human condition in an irreverent packaging that didn't take itself too seriously. But along the way, something seems to have changed.
I'm not confident in my ability to entertain, and I think if I had to rely on my personality to entertain people, that I wouldn't have any amount of success.
Now, iDubbbz has renounced his old content and his old fans.
I did not like the interactions that I had with fans. There were quite a few human beings that I interacted with.
In person?
Yeah, in person, that just sucked. They just sucked because I attracted a lot of people who suck. Antisocial, weird, basement dwellers, and the one time a month that they come out of their cave is going to restock on supplies at Walmart.
All the people theorizing about this apparent fall from grace of one of YouTube's titans of years past seem to have come to the same conclusion. iDubbbz changed. He went soft, his wife corrupted him, he fell off, he got hit in the head one too many times, blah blah blah. I'm here to tell you that iDubbbz never really changed. Let me show you exactly what I mean. After the final Content Cop in late 2017, iDubbbz began experimenting with new formats for his videos. During this time, he was one of the first big YouTubers to popularize the tier list trend. The new hallmark of the iDubbbz channel, though, was documentaries. Ian put together a film crew and began traveling the country to record interesting internet personalities. The first documentary they created was Full Force, an hour-long piece about a YouTuber called Airsoft Fatty. This high-stakes gamble on a new content format on iDubbbz channel paid off, and the video received over 20 million views. Alongside normal videos, Ian continued working on documentaries, releasing one on Dax Flame a year later. In late 2021, comedian and content creator Sam Hyde claimed that he had been iDubbbz's third documentary subject. But something had gone wrong. iDubbbz and his film crew had flown out to Sam in Rhode Island, shot the documentary, and then gone home after 2 weeks. Now, 9 months had passed, and Ian never released the documentary. Sam claimed Ian wasn't answering messages anymore. But Sam had his own footage and said that to recoup the 2 weeks and $15,000 he had spent to accommodate the filming, he was going to release his own documentary called The Truth About iDubbbz. In January of 2022, he did just that. In it, Sam presents his own theory about why Ian tried to scrap the documentary.
Part of what went wrong was I think iDubbbz was kind of trying to punk me a little bit. Yeah. And like make me look like a guy that had like fallen off, which I have. Like I've fallen off. Like undoubtedly, I think he kind of wanted to like, he wanted to come out here and see something depressing, and we like ended up making this kind of like funny thing.
Describing this documentary as a funny thing might be the biggest undersell of the year on YouTube. Sam and his crew came up with an entire document full of ways that they could troll and gaslight iDubbbz before he got there. When Ian and his crew arrived, Sam and his crew invited them into their office. A hellish converted dentist's office crammed full of people with trash all over the tables and floor and loud music blaring constantly. Ian also got to meet Sam's girlfriend, Danny, a troubled, drug-addicted girl who Ian said interacting with made him very sad for her.
iDubbbz, just stick a camera in her face immediately. That's my girlfriend that you were asking about.
Hi.
Please don't flirt with iDubbbz.
Okay. Hi.
You're Danny?
Yeah. You look anemic. But
Anemic?
yeah, a little bit. We look alike though. It's kind of weird.
Throughout the documentary, Sam lets Ian into his world, taking him racing, shooting, and even boxing. The climax of this documentary is the interview. Ian begins to question Sam about Danny, asking why he doesn't get her help for her addictions.
Have you tried to get her any help?
No, seeing as she's a girl I paid $500 to shave her head and pretend to be my girlfriend, no, I haven't tried to get her any help. Should you want me to try?
Well, okay.
I don't know her that well. It's probably not my business to get her off drugs. Also, I think I told her to put her hand in your pocket and pretend to be on drugs.
Shut up.
The entire thing was fake. The office was a set. Danny was an actress. Everything about the 2 weeks was a carefully crafted comedy skit. The only one who didn't know it was iDubbbz. Sam hadn't been completely in character the whole time though. He spent most of the 2 weeks playing chicken with the truth, inviting iDubbbz to enjoy his hobbies together and hang out with his friends. The Airsoft Fatty documentary was about a down-on-his-luck content creator who had faded from the spotlight. The Dax Flame documentary was the same. Sam Hyde also fit this profile, but things did not go the way Ian expected. Suddenly, Sam's claims about why Ian never released the documentary started to make a lot more sense. 1 month later, Ian released his version of the documentary titled Getting Away With It. iDubbbz's depiction of events wasn't too different from Sam's, just from the perspective of someone who was not in on the joke.
As a whole, talking with Sam, you know, he's very forward and he's got a big personality. The rest of the guys there were very
Dipped in Sherm. You want one, John?
I'm good, thanks though.
weird. The whole environment was weird. But when it came to Danny, it was just sad.
Less than 1 month later, iDubbbz made an announcement. He would be hosting a massive YouTuber boxing event called Creator Clash. He had gathered a roster of 22 YouTubers who had agreed to fight in Tampa, Florida, with the goal of raising as much money as they could for charity. Fans immediately suggested that Sam Hyde should be invited to fight. When asked about this, Ian and Anissa had this to say about Sam.
There's been some talk of Sam Hyde getting involved in your event. Could you speak to that?
If anyone saw the documentary Getting Away With It, we worked with Sam Hyde for a period, and it was tough. You know, he was wanting to put on his own show, and he did, and it was funny. But he's not a super cooperative guy. He's very unpredictable. So involving him in our event just isn't a good idea. I think most people would.
It's just a massive business risk.
It seems inconsistent that Ian was willing to film a documentary with Sam that received over 5 million views, but allowing him to participate in a YouTuber boxing event a few months later was too big of a business risk. Since Sam wasn't allowed to fight, he offered to train one of the fighters in the event. Harley Morenstein of Epic Mealtime traveled to Rhode Island to train with Sam leading up to Creator Clash. After months of preparation and training, it was finally time for the event. But Ian had one more trick up his sleeve.
Were you under the impression that you were going to be on this card at any point?
No, I didn't think I was going to be on the card, but I didn't realize at any point that I was going to be blacklisted from a charity event. That I got 5 front row tickets It was $10,000, and it's for charity. And supposedly I'm going to be refunded this money. So I guess he wants me not around badly enough that it's worth taking away $10,000 from charity.
Sam wasn't even allowed into the venue to support his fighter that he had spent months training, presumably because Ian thought Sam and his crew would do something to derail the event, something iDubbbz had done to Tana Mojo for a content cop just a few years before.
We're getting kicked out apparently. I just wanted to... I'm VIP though. I'm VIP.
Creator Clash sold in excess of 100,000 pay-per-views and raised over $1.3 million for charity. In the wake of this success, iDubbbz and Anissa announced that they intended to make this an annual event. For Creator Clash 2, they booked the 20,000-seat Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida, which nearly doubled their seating capacity from the previous year. And they began recruiting fighters. Among them was Froggy Fresh, who has been on YouTube for a very long time and got famous for his comedy rap videos from about 2010 to 2012. Froggy began training with Sam Hyde, who at this point had proven himself an accomplished boxing trainer after Harley trained under Sam and won. Froggy started posting on Twitter to build up hype for the event and posted this video directed at his opponent, Chris Raygun.
On April 15th, if I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Anissa's OnlyFans.
Froggy's wager saying that he would buy Ian's wife Anissa's OnlyFans if he lost his fight seemed to most to be lighthearted, especially since Ian had previously said,
"My girlfriend started an OnlyFans account. A good amount of people are just doing the reasonable thing and just making jokes and laughing about it."
He made it pretty clear in this video from 2020 when Anissa had started her OnlyFans that he was okay with people joking about it. And the memes he shows in the background are all objectively meaner than what Froggy Fresh just said. And Anissa was extremely involved in the production of Creator Clash, crediting herself as the promoter and Ian as the boxer. She was not some uninvolved family member who was immune from jokes. But someone on Twitter didn't see it this way. One user came swinging for Froggy, saying that he was an imp, has numbnuts and brain damage, and should be removed from the fight for his comment about Anissa's OnlyFans. Froggy replied pretty calmly, asking this person to watch her language since she is Anissa's mother. Wait, what? During this time, people on Twitter found and circulated an article from way back in 2016 showing that Anissa's mom had been a moderator of her Twitch chat for at least 6 years. In one of the most bizarre fluff pieces ever posted, the Kotaku writer said, "As a chat moderator and mother, Jomha's, Anissa's mom's, instincts are to protect her daughter, which, in her capacity as mod, is well within her right. She can time out the harassers, slow their ability to post, or even ban them. As an advocate for free speech, Rainbow Kids," that was Anissa's Twitch name at the time, "argues viewers should be able to say whatever they want to her." Fast forward to the present leading up to Creator Clash 2 and the same woman posts, "Classic case of brain damage, better have that looked at along with your shrunken balls." And she goes on to say that Froggy needs to be removed from Creator Clash for saying he would buy a product that isn't a secret that her daughter sells and makes profit from. Well, I'm glad they made it clear back then to the Kotaku writer that they're pro-free speech and know how to take a joke. They kicked him from the fight 3 weeks before it was supposed to happen, after he had spent several months and several $1,000s training for this. Maureen, Anissa's mom, deleted her Twitter. Anissa went unprotected, and iDubbbz started blocking anyone who had anything negative to say about the situation. They even turned off replies on the official Creator Clash account so no one could comment.
It's okay when I'm hating, but when other people are hating me, strictly off limits, guys.
Creator Clash tweeted again, saying Creator Clash's goal is to make an inclusive and fun environment for creators and fans while giving back to charity. That has always been our mission, and Froggy Fresh's recent behavior does not align with that mission. We look forward to sharing this positive experience on April 15th. What exactly did Froggy say or do that wasn't fun or inclusive? Was it when he said he would buy the promoter's OnlyFans? Was it when he asked her mother to watch her language? The explanation wasn't good enough and people wanted answers. So Creator Clash posted a wall of text 3 days later that used a ton of words to say, absolutely nothing. They claimed Froggy had violated the legally binding code of conduct in the contract he had signed with them. They didn't provide the language from the contract that he allegedly violated. They also didn't say exactly what he did that violated the contract. They did say that he was a risk to the other fighters, fans, and others involved in the event, so they had to kick him. The plot thickened as Froggy joined a Twitter space to discuss this.
They're suing you to recoup the training costs they gave you? Like,
oh, they said if I shut up and pay back the 15 grand for the 5 months of training, if I shut up and pay that back, they won't sue me for damages.
An all-out war erupted online, with Mutahar of Some Ordinary Gamers offering to cover any of Froggy's legal fees. Harley, who had fought in the event the year prior and trained under the same trainer as Froggy, was squarely in iDubbbz and Anissa's corner, tweeting incessantly over several days in their defense, in long threads that are now mostly deleted. Strangely, he asked Froggy why he hadn't replied to one of Anissa's texts to him, and implied that any breakdown in communication was Froggy's fault. Another person in iDubbbz and Anissa's corner was Alana Pierce, who was scheduled to fight in Creator Clash 2.
Some people, including all of the big YouTubers who just love jumping on this stuff without like really digging into it, which is always so frustrating, have made a bunch of commentary about Froggy Fresh getting sued by Creator Clash, which is absolutely not true. A lawyer sent a document, but that document is not litigation and it's not them trying to sue him. And what they did was send him a letter saying, hey, can we have the $15,000 back? The reason they did that was because now that he's no longer fighting because of breach of contract, he had to be replaced. That money that was given to him is just taken out of charity at this point. That is not them trying to sue him. I think like that was an offer, but I don't think that's their way of being like, if you don't do these things, we're going to sue you. And at no point did they ever say that.
How does she know so much about this legal letter that had nothing to do with her? It hadn't been posted anywhere online, nor had the contract that Froggy had signed. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Are iDubbbz and Anissa leaking private information to their friends so they'll defend them online? No, that's impossible. In a Twitter space the night the Creator Clash wall of text dropped, Froggy and a group of YouTubers tried to figure out exactly what he might have been kicked for. Froggy explained that Ian had been acting weird even before the Twitter spat with Anissa's mom, asking him questions in a phone call about Sam Hyde. Froggy said this made him uncomfortable and he asked Ian if they could text instead. He claims that in these texts, he asked Ian several times for a yes or no answer if he was going to be kicked out of the event for working with Sam Hyde. And each time Ian responded with a long text that did not include a direct answer. Out of respect for Ian's privacy, Froggy did not release these text messages. So at this point, this part of the argument is speculation. In response to Alana Pierce's video saying Froggy was taking money from charity, Froggy dropped yet another bombshell just 1 week before the event.
Alana Pierce is misinforming the public saying that I'm taking money off the table for charity, okay? The money I used to train was an advance on my purse. It had nothing to do with the charity organizations. All the fighters are receiving a purse to fight, so I would have a smaller purse on fight night. That's it. Now what I'm willing to do to show you how dedicated I am to charity, I'm willing to donate the rest of my purse to charity, as well as my portion of profits from ticket sales and pay-per-view sales that all the fighters are splitting. I'll donate both of those to charity. That means doing it for absolutely nothing.
Now, Creator Clash never said that they were not paying fighters, but it was heavily implied. Leading up to Creator Clash 1, iDubbbz said he turned down several potential fighters because they wanted to be paid. Alana Pierce said she hadn't received $15,000 like Froggy did. In fact, she hadn't received anything.
Tyler, Froggy Fresh, was given $15,000 for training purposes. And for the record, I was not given that money. I don't know if anyone else was. I think it was effectively like a financial aid for him specifically because I guess he requested it. I'm not entirely sure how that went down because he needed the help paying for training. I don't know how much money he spent. I don't think that I've spent $15,000 paying for my training or my meals.
Ew, a poor person. I hope he doesn't get close to me. I bet he smells bad. But she never said she would not be paid in the future. And since iDubbbz and Anissa went radio silent about the drama in the week leading up to the fight, and Harley and Alana consistently argued on their behalf, it's safe to hold them accountable, in my opinion, as the spokespeople for Creator Clash. Of course, there's nothing wrong with paying people for their time, especially when they have other jobs and they need to take months out of their lives to get smacked in the head in the gym every day. But a little more transparency and a little less condescension would have gone a long way in this situation.
Oh my gosh! You are lying to me? You're such a goofball!
Finally, it was time for Creator Clash 2. The fights went forward as planned, except for Froggy's, as he was replaced with someone at the last minute who had a 6-inch height advantage on his opponent, Chris Raygun. When the ref moved in to end the unmitigated slaughter, he accidentally punched her in the back of the head, making it the most eventful fight of the night. And for the second year in a row, iDubbbz lost his fight.
Yeah, I really appreciate everyone. You know, I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I really do appreciate the support, and you know, thank you for coming.
Oh, do you want to hint at maybe what else you're going to do on your main channel? You don't have to say who it's
Yes, on my main channel, I'm going to be addressing controversies, and I'm going to be putting out be putting out a content cop.
Yes! Ian hadn't made a content cop in over 5 years at this point, and even with all the recent disappointments, the idea of a new content cop coming out was very exciting. Who would the unlucky victim be? Would we see the infamous police uniform, the carefully crafted skits, the meticulous writing designed to be a precision weapon against a deserving foe? People used to worry about their careers ending if a content cop got dropped on them. It was a singular event on the internet, and finally, they were coming back. 2 weeks later, on May 3rd, iDubbbz uploaded Addressing the Froggy Fresh Drama. This is it.
I think a lot of the content I've made has been irresponsible and misguided. And I think I've hurt a lot of people with the content I've made.
No. This isn't a content cop feel. Anissa said this is a content cop, so you're supposed to say something witty and confident to disarm your opponent.
I think I've done a lot of bad, and you know, at the bare minimum, I've just put a lot of negativity out there in the world.
Okay, that's not working. Let's try a logical argument. One of the cornerstones of content cops is building a solid argument that proves that you're right and your opponent is wrong.
The main reason Froggy was kicked from the card was for collaborating with Sam Hyde. I got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want you working or training with Sam Hyde, but you're doing that, so all right, I'll look past it.
He was kicked from the event because he worked with Sam Hyde, but you also were okay with him working with Sam Hyde? What?
If you look at my text exchange with Froggy, it's very clear that I didn't want to kick him from the card.
Alright, these are the text messages that Froggy alluded to before the event. So, green is Ian and gray is Froggy. Froggy asks very plainly if he's allowed to work with Sam. Ian responds with a long text that doesn't even fit on the screen. Froggy is confused and asks, what are we actually discussing right now? Ian explains that he's uncomfortable with Sam. Froggy directly asks for a yes or no answer, and Ian says, it depends. He's banned from the event. If you want him to be there, we cannot accommodate that. Froggy again asks for a yes or no answer. Ian says he needs time to think about this. Froggy is frustrated at this point. Ian responds with another wall of text, then says he would prefer if Froggy waited until after the event to post content including Sam. Froggy is offended, and it seems like he feels he's being pushed around. He says he's going to work with Sam anyway, and then says, sounds like your personal problems are interfering with your business. Ian says ultimately, it is Froggy's decision. Hold on, Froggy asks for a direct answer by my count 7 times, and not one single time does Ian give a direct answer. And he leaves the end of the conversation at ultimately, it is your decision. Anyone who's ever been gaslit for long periods of time knows exactly what is going on here. They'll say things like, ultimately, it is your decision. But you know that if you make the wrong decision, there will be hell to pay. Or maybe I'm reading too far into this. Let's hear him out.
We're not talking about people, we're talking about what you do with Sam Hyde, because you're in my event. Unfortunately, I have to be around you. You have to fight at my event. I have to share the same space as you know, in the parties, at the event itself, and I don't want to do that. I have no interest in sharing that space with you.
That sounds like the truth. It sounds to me like this event isn't about charity or the fighters or any of that. It's about Ian getting the spotlight and hanging out with people that he personally likes. To Ian's credit, he did find a lot of clips of Sam Hyde and Froggy Fresh saying some very nasty things about him and Anissa and put them in this video. He went through recordings and put little nerd emojis on the screen when Boblax and Nicholas DeOrio were talking. So that's an epic own, I guess. He makes fun of Misfits boxing and calls out Boogie and Wings of Redemption. So that's kind of like a content cop, I guess. Maybe he'll build a strong argument that will lead to a big payoff.
I paid money, I'm on the floor seats, and I see like some shenanigans going down. I take a photo of it. It's just people holding up a sign. It said Froggy did nothing wrong. Like
seemingly innocuous.
Yeah, right. I go to this like after event and Anissa comes up to me. She comes up and says, that tweet was really not cool. And I just apologize. I felt kind of like a bitch. I was like, why the f did I apologize?
Masculinity had been completely removed via Anissa.
That was it. The crescendo to the first new symphony in 5 years from this world-renowned composer is making fun of Rusty Cage for regretting apologizing to Anissa for some minor perceived slight? That wasn't a content cop, that was a content felony.
That's not acceptable.
Ian did say that this was the year he was going to really start focusing on content again, on posting more videos and revitalizing his YouTube channel. Maybe the next video will be the real Chontent Chop. And just 15 days later, on May 18th, he delivered.
I have made some cruel, hurtful content, and I need to acknowledge that, and I'm really sorry that it's taken me this long to acknowledge it.
In this new video called I Miss the Old iDubbbz, Ian explained that he would unlist all of his old Content Cop videos because he believes they perpetuate bigotry. He says the victims of his past videos don't deserve all the hate and harassment that he sent their way.
I've profited off of this bigoted content for years, and I've made a successful career out of it, and that's not right.
iDubbbz also addressed Tana Mojo, the subject of probably the most famous content cop.
I should have never made that video. I harassed Tana in person and then harassed her online, and that's deplorable behavior. It's so stupid.
But that's not how I remember the Tana content cop, and I don't think it's how most other people remember it either. Let's remember that Tana started the whole thing by telling iDubbbz to go off himself because he said a certain bad word. iDubbbz and Anissa responded by going to Tana's meet and greet, where iDubbbz said the single bad word in her presence, not even calling her it, just saying the word, pointing it out in a way that she herself had used it before. And this in turn baited her into posting a completely fabricated version of these events, which iDubbbz was able to use to show that she was a liar who made up fake stories on YouTube for money. That was the content cop. That's not harassment. That's doing a public service, pointing out a con artist. Well, maybe I'm wrong. I wasn't there. Tana, what do you think?
Putting me on blast, him inevitably making me kind of canceled and lose subscribers and have to apologize and all that type of stuff. I kind of think I like deserved that. It made me do so much necessary growth, and I think it also changed the entire trajectory of my career and life.
For some people like Tana, a dose of brutal honesty is what they need to wake them up and get them back on the right track. It seems like the content cop steered her career in a very positive direction, but iDubbbz now disagrees with that.
It doesn't matter what my intentions are. Like, if I'm hurting people, I'm hurting people.
But if that's really how iDubbbz feels now, why did he make fun of Misfits and Boogie and put clown emojis on people's faces in his video just 2 weeks ago? What's the difference?
It's either all okay or none of it's okay.
On July 3rd, Ian would upload another video on his main channel titled The Harsh Reality of Creator Clash 2.
Hello everyone. I have some bad news to share with you. I really don't want to share it. I feel terrible. This year has been a rough one, but this is the path that I chose, so I think it's best to be transparent. For Creator Clash 2, despite it being a fun event and despite good fights and a lot of creators sacrificing a lot of time, money, and energy, we lost $250,000 on the event.
Wait, since this event lost $250,000, the charities would get nothing?
You're gonna turn on charities?
That money that was given to him is just taken out of charity.
We're here because of some great charities that I know you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
None of this was to put money in anyone's pocket. It was to put on an entertaining thing to raise money for charity.
All the profits are going to charity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there like a payday in the future you guys are working towards?
No, not really.
No helping hand mentions how much they help people that much.
To Ian and Anissa's credit, this is how most charities in the world are run. Many nonprofit CEOs make salaries in the millions of dollars, and some nonprofits are set up with the express purpose of creating tax loopholes and photo ops for billionaires and politicians. It is not likely that Ian and Anissa could have convinced an army of security guards to be on vigilant lookout for a 260-pound, 6.5-foot tall boxing comedian for free. They also covered the hotels, travel, broadcasting, insurance, and the list of expenses went on and on.
I foolishly thought that the success of last year should be a minimum, and that wasn't true.
Ian went on to say that they sold half as many pay-per-views as they had the first year. Only 50,000 for Creator Clash 2, as opposed to 100,000 sold for Creator Clash 1. He also mentions that they had no anti-piracy measures, and even though only 50,000 people paid to watch the fights, over 1 million people saw them due to pirated streams.
We also had events the day before the fight and the day after the fight, so that, fighters and friends and family could come together and process their trauma.
After working to justify the additional expenses compared to the previous year, Ian says it doesn't matter anyway since the income was so low, presumably because it never would have covered the expenses even if they had worked to keep them as low as possible.
And what I absolutely don't need is people spreading rumors about us pocketing money. This has been a financial catastrophe for me. I can't even think about doing a Creator Clash 3. We lost money and there's no money for charity.
But for all of Ian's talk about piracy and trauma, the comments suggested a completely different reason for the low sales. Nobody knew this event was happening. There was so little hype that one commenter even said that they bought a ticket for this event, forgot that they had purchased it, and then didn't attend. Most of the fighters participating in the event didn't bother to build any hype up around it or encourage their followers to buy the pay-per-view. The loudest noise on social media leading up to the event had been the drama surrounding Froggy Fresh. The fighters who seemed to bring the most attention to the event during the lead up were Harley Morenstein, who spent literal days on Twitter arguing with Froggy Fresh and telling random fans he would have sex with their parents, and Alana Pierce, who said to Froggy,
"A lawyer sent a document, but that document is not litigation and it's not them trying to sue him. That is not them trying to sue him. I think that was an offer, but I don't think that's their way of being like, if you don't do these things, we're gonna sue you," and at no point did they ever say that.
Well, about that. In response to all this, Froggy posted the legal letter he was sent by the Creator Clash lawyers, which reads, "Creator Clash demands that you immediately cease and desist from making any further public or private statements about Creator Clash. Continuing to engage in such conduct will cause you to be liable for damages to Creator Clash, and Creator Clash will seek all remedies available to protect its rights. Creator Clash is presently evaluating all courses of action that may be available to it due to your actions and omissions, which have caused Creator Clash to incur significant damages."
By the way, we weren't suing Froggy. We have no interest in going to court over $15,000.
Wow, there sure were a lot of lies, infighting, and generally bad PR swirling around this thing like a fat turd being sucked down into a flushing toilet. If only there were a promoter that could have come into the room and sprayed some air freshener. Oh, there was. And she seemed to spend a lot of time leaking personal text messages between her and Froggy to Harley so he could defend her online, leaking information about the cease and desist that she sent to Froggy to Alana so she could defend her online, and writing PR statements that read like a homework assignment that some truant kid fed into ChatGPT. It didn't leave a lot of time for, I don't know, actually promoting the event. Leading up to the first Creator Clash, iDubbbz posted 4 videos on his channel, hyping up the event. Most of the creators participating posted quite a lot about it. Creator Clash 2, on the other hand, only got 2 videos posted on iDubbbz channel. The niche internet micro-celebrities participating the second year were even nicher. The second event also got a year of horrendous publicity after banning one of the trainers from entering Creator Clash 1, going on a podcast 2 months before the event and calling your fans antisocial, weird, basement dwellers, and the one time a month that they come out of their cave
is going to restock on supplies at Walmart.
Banning and publicly gaslighting Froggy Fresh, sending him a letter threatening to sue him, and then saying you were never going to sue him. Is it any wonder that the few people who did hear about this event were probably either repulsed by the behavior of its owners or terrified that if they said the wrong thing, they'd be sued into oblivion? If you're going to act like a villain, for God's sake, at least be entertaining.
I get it. I'd hate me too.
To his credit, Ian did do a 24-hour Twitch charity stream after this and ended up raising over $160,000 for charity.
Well, if you can. I just want to ask you if you've always been shitting your pants.
No.
Because since I've known you, you've always had like IBS. You've always been shitting yourself.
Yeah, well.
Maybe iDubbbz should have just done a 24-hour charity stream to begin with and not even had the event if the whole goal was to raise money for charity. If he had made a couple videos promoting this stream and hosted it on YouTube where he has 7.5 million subscribers instead of on Twitch where he has 150,000, I wonder how much more money for charity he could have raised without spending a dime. But of course, raising money for charity wasn't the only goal. The main goal seemed to be gather a bunch of people who Ian and Anissa considered to be personal friends for a vanity love tapping session.
Because you're like your sparring partners in boxing, like they're your friends, but you also have to do well against them and you have to hurt them. Sometimes I'll grapple with that a little bit where it's like, oh, I don't like, can we play more? Do we have to box or can we just like tap each other?
And remember way back before Creator Clash 1 when Anissa said,
we worked with Sam Hyde for a period and it was tough. You know, he was wanting to put on his own show and he did, and it was funny. But he's not a super cooperative guy. He's very unpredictable. So involving him in our event just isn't a good idea. I think most people would.
Business risk.
Well, coincidentally, while all this was going on, that massive business risk was running his own event, a 6-week live-streamed game show called Fish Tank. I wonder how that went financially.
Well, was it clear right away? Like, did you know, like, within the first week that this was going to be profitable? That you weren't just going to, like, have to mortgage your fucking house and sell your truck?
Yeah, first day, yeah.
First day.
We knew that. Oh, shit. Yeah, we knew the first day that it was the biggest thing ever.
Sam went on to say that Fish Tank made more money than anything he's ever done, which presumably would include the TV show he had on Adult Swim. So no, Sam Hyde is not a massive business risk, he's an ego risk. Froggy Fresh is not a massive business risk, he's an ego risk. And don't get it twisted, it's your event, iDubbbz. Invite or ban whoever you want, but don't ban people you don't like and then make grandiose statements about how this is an inclusive event. It would be more honest to say, this is my boxing event. It's very exclusive. I don't care how much money you've spent on tickets or how many months you've spent training. If you badmouth me or my wife, you are not allowed in. If I don't personally like you, I will kick you. Which you did kind of say.
When it comes to people wanting to fuck around and mess with the vibes, I'm not gonna tolerate it. You know, you're gonna get kicked from the card.
But you didn't say this until after you ran 2 of these and spent a year and a half trying to gaslight the world into thinking this was something other than North Korea, where if you badmouth dear leader, the God Emperor, you'll be exiled to a work camp in Siberia, made fun of in a drama video, and sent a cease and desist letter threatening to sue you if you don't stop saying mean things. So the boxing event may have failed, but at least iDubbbz grew and changed as a person and doesn't bully people anymore.
Like, cause like it's not my problem that you have personal beef with the greatest comedian in the world. If I go to Providence,
how am I the simp? How am I the simp? I want to know. Is it because it's a woman? It's because it's a woman, isn't it? It's okay to simp for a big gross dude.
So has iDubbbz really changed at all? He still wants to make content cops on people who make him mad. The difference now is he doesn't put on a police uniform and skateboard through a parking lot for the intro. The other difference is his perspective. Ian's view of his past self seems to be so distorted that he doesn't even understand what his old videos were about anymore. And his view of his present self is so warped that he can't see that threatening to sue someone for Twitter jokes makes him the bad guy in this situation. It's okay to try something big, like a boxing event, and fail financially. In fact, I think it's pretty cool. It's okay to change as a person and hate who you used to be. You have that right. It's okay to criticize people online and push back against people like Sam and Froggy for saying mean things about you and your wife. It's okay to kick people out of your event that you own. It's okay to regret content you made in the past and take it down. You own it. What's off-putting and worthy of criticism is all the misdirection, the gaslighting, the moral grandstanding, the ego, and the lies. The reason it makes people so mad at you when you do it, Ian, is because you are so obsessed with rewriting the past.
If you're a fucking prude with a stick up your ass the whole time, you can suck the fun and the comedy out of anything.
If you like this video, you might like my video that I made about Sam Hyde, explaining the feud between him and Ian in even more depth than this video. Also, King of Nothing, fellow YouTuber, is making a video about iDubbbz right now as well. Head on over to his channel and watch that, drop him a sub, and show him some love. And as always, thanks for watching, stay weird internet, see you next time, peace.